In this video, we are going to understand 10 of the most important, most powerful peptides that are currently being discussed in medicine, fitness, recovery, regenerative medicine, longevity, etc. See, there are hundreds of peptides available today, and it can become very confusing also because everyone have different opinion on each of these, and different people follow different protocol and different combination. I follow a different combination, you follow a different protocol, and we had difference in opinion also when it comes to fat loss peptides, when it comes to metabolic peptides, when it comes to skin peptides. But before we talk about those individual peptides, there is one important principle that you should always remember, that peptides are just amplifiers, right? So if you need to use peptides, in fact, you need to understand that they improve a body that is already have a good foundation, right? They cannot replace the foundation as such. The engine has to be good so that it will help in the maintenance of that engine. If the engine is crap, then it is not going to work out, right? You cannot simply give the fuel and you cannot drive that. So same is the case with peptide also. For example, if your sleep is poor and not good, and your nutrition is not good, your stress is uncontrolled, and you don't exercise, in that case, there are no peptides which is going to magically fix all these problems. So the better your foundation is, the better that peptides also can work. So peptides will be supplementing all what you already have. You need to have a good sleep, you need to have proper nutrition, you need to have controlled stress, and you have to exercise, you have to do weight training and the resistance training and all, right? So let's look at some of the most important peptides, and we'll try to understand where each one is going to fit. And after that, you can decide where you are lacking. For example, if I have problem with sleep, I can use this. If I have problem with metabolism, I can use this. If the problem is with the skin and hair, I can use this. The problem is with anxiety, then I can use this. If the problem is with tissue repair, I can use this. So I'll be talking about all those. The first one that I would like to discuss is DSIP. It is also known as delta sleep-inducing peptide. See, many people underestimate sleep, but almost every function in the body depends on your sleep, whether it is recovery, whether hormone production, your metabolism, your fat loss, your brain function, and your tissue repair, all happens when you sleep. So DSIP actually work, by supporting a deeper, slow wave sleep, which is the stage, in fact, where most of the physical recovery actually takes place in your body. So it doesn't act like sleeping pill or any kind of sedative. Instead, DSIP is actually helping your natural sleep cycle to return to a healthier, proper rhythm. And many people actually report that they don't necessarily sleep longer, but when they wake up, they feel like they finally had a deep restorative sleep. So DSIP, this peptide, is especially very useful during, when you have periods of high stress, or after illness. In fact, after my cancer treatment also, I use this a lot. After your surgery, for me, after my chemo and surgery, I used a lot. So, or even during the phases when sleep quality have significantly declined, you can use this. So it is generally viewed as a kind of short-term tool so that you can restore your healthy sleep rather than something you should be using continuously. There are some peptides, if you ask me, I use for lifetime, lifelong. I can use, for example, Reta I can use, and even GHK-Cu I can use for lifelong. Right? So this is something to fix that temporary problem. Maybe 1 month, 2 months, it's fixed, and then you don't want to. Right? Once the sleep improves, the next step is improving your, health of your cells. Now, when it comes to cellular health, I'll discuss two, SS-31 and MOTS-c. I'll discuss both in different contexts. Okay, so see, every cell in your body, in our body, contains something called as mitochondria, that the energy powerhouse, which are responsible for producing the energy in your body. So the stress or illness or aging and intense physical demands that can gradually damage these mitochondria. When you age, it will damage, or the stress can damage your mitochondria, or illness can damage your mitochondria, and it will reduce energy production and increase cellular dysfunction. And this is where SS-31 becomes important. Now understand SS-31 and MOTS-c in a different way. SS-31 will repair the damaged engine, damaged cell. MOTS-c will help you to maintain that, to continue with the engine which is already repaired. So we need to fix the problem first, right? So after my surgery, after my chemo, if my cells are gone to a dysfunctional mode, then first what I need to use is SS-31. I have to repair first, and then I continue with MOTS-c for the maintenance. So SS-31 is a mitochondrial peptide that basically help to support the inner membrane of mitochondria, and that will allow them to function more efficiently. So if you have a healthier mitochondria, that means you have better energy production, you have an improved recovery, and you have a healthy metabolism, and overall you get a stronger immune function, and that means improved overall cellular health. So rather than trying to optimize a damaged system, in fact, what SS-31 is doing is SS-31 is focusing on repairing the cellular engine first. So this is why, in fact, many researchers consider it as one of the most important repair peptide. So SS-31 is a repair peptide. And once mitochondrial functions are better, if the functioning is coming to better, then the next goal is what? Now the engine is correct. Now we need to fine tune it. We need to improve the performance of it. That's where we need to discuss MOTS-c. So if the damaged engine directly you're using MOTS-c, it is of no use because engine is damaged. Now on the damaged engine, how can you improve the functioning, right? So make the engine better, make the function of the engine better, right? And then we can improve the performance of that engine. So you consider your body as the engine, your cells as the engine. So repair first and make it properly functioning. Then we improve its performance. That's when MOTS-c comes. So straight away, MOTS-c cannot be used. First, you need to use SS-31, repair it, and then use MOTS-c. You can continue lifelong also. So MOTS-c is often described as a kind of exercise mimetic peptide because it activates many of the same metabolic pathways that are stimulated when you're doing exercise. So it's giving a kind of feel that you're actually doing exercise even when you're sleeping or even when you're doing your regular routine jobs also. And that basically encourages the body to produce healthier mitochondria and improve metabolic efficiency. So it is very important to understand that MOTS-c does not replace exercise. It's just told that some of the hormones which is released during the exercise process will get released here also. So instead, basically what MOTS-c is doing is it amplifies the benefit of regular training and healthy lifestyle habits. So if you have regular training, then it will add to that. So think SS-31 as a repairing engine, right? Your engine is damaged, like your cell is damaged, it is repairing that. But MOTS-c help to improve the performance of that repaired engine. If the engine is damaged, there is no question of improving performance. So first, if engine is damaged, repair the engine by using SS-31. Then once the engine is repaired, once it started functioning, then increase its performance by using MOTS-c. So don't get confused with SS-31 and MOTS-c. Since I'm using MOTS-c, I don't want SS-31. Or since I've used SS-31, I don't want MOTS-c. That's not the case. You repair first using SS-31 and then use MOTS-c for maintenance, for improving the performance. Okay, now we have done with cellular repair. Now let's go to tissue repair. One of the most known peptides when it comes to the repair is BPC-157, the body protection compound. The most important peptide which I can use for my life term, right? Entire life I can use. I'll be happy to use this BPC-157 and TB500. In fact, the combination is called as Wolverine stack. So BPC-157, in fact, widely discussed because of its potential role in supporting tissue healing, and it appears to enhance the body's own repair mechanisms by improving blood supply to the damaged tissues and support the formation of new tissues and reduce the inflammation around the injured areas. So that is one of the function. And in fact, I had a very severe tear on my shoulder that happened while during, when I was playing volleyball during a smash. And after that, I couldn't, even lift my hands for quite long time. Doctors asked me to go for arthroscopic surgery, the sports surgery, but I didn't do that. Instead, I used BPC-157 and TB500 combination. 6 weeks, it's solved now. I can do anything with my hand. So that's powerful it is. And many people use it for tendon injuries, like the way I told you, ligament injuries, muscle recoveries, and joint problems, and even gut-related issues. See, working closely with BPC-157 is what TB500. So when you see BPC-157 is used for kind of targeted healing. If I have an issue here, this is targeted one. But TB500 in fact support the repair throughout the body. So it helps to repair the cells, migrate towards damaged tissues, and promote a broader recovery across multiple areas. So TB500 is something which works in the entire body. BPC-157 will work where the issue is there. So that is targeted healing. So it will tell your body that there is an injury here. You need more blood flow, repair in this particular area. So when these two peptides are combined, they are commonly referred to as the Wolverine stack because they complement each other's action and support overall tissue healing. Now, another important area of health is gut. many chronic problems are associated with ongoing inflammation within the digestive system. And this is where KPV becomes interesting. In fact, after my cancer treatment, after my chemo and everything, I started the peptide protocol with KPV because I had a lot of inflammation. Simply by removing that inflammation itself, most of your body problems will be solved. See, unlike many peptides that are injected, KPV, in fact, you can take it orally also, but injected is better. Because what is the primary target? The primary target of KPV is gut itself. So it basically helps to reduce inflammation in the intestinal lining, and that basically support the gut barrier. And it may also improve what many people called as the leaky gut also. So since gut plays a major role when it comes to your overall health, when you improve the gut function, that can positively influence many other systems in the body. So the first thing that you want to improve, your gut, and then it will also help you to reduce overall inflammation also. Now, next we talk about the most popular peptide in the anti-aging world, that is GHK-Cu. That's the copper peptide, right? So this is a peptide which is best known for supporting skin, hair, and nail health, and it promotes collagen production, which is essential for maintaining, firm skin, elastin. You get that elasticity and healthy connective tissues also, and a stronger hair. But again, these changes do not happen overnight. Improvement, it takes some time overall. In fact, it may take often several months also, but it may also help to maintain the skin quality during significant weight loss when you are taking GLPs by supporting collagen and the skin integrity. So it is very important to understand that while GHK-Cu may improve skin quality, it is not a miracle solution for severe loose skin, but definitely it will improve the skin quality. Now we have covered repair. Let's move to optimization. One of the most commonly discussed peptide, which is the combination of 1295 and CJC1295 and Ipamorelin. These are growth hormone, peptides. See, growth hormone peptides and growth hormones are different. Growth hormone means directly you're injecting growth hormone. Growth hormone peptide means it will tell your body to release the growth hormone. So CJC1295 and Ipamorelin are growth hormone peptides. So these two peptides work together to stimulate your body's natural release of growth hormone. So CJC1295 encourages the pituitary gland to release growth hormone, and Ipamorelin support a cleaner and more natural growth hormone pulse. So instead of inducing the synthetic growth hormone directly into your body, this will actually help your body to produce more of its growth hormone, natural growth hormone, and that will contribute to improved recovery, a better sleep, and the preservation of your lean muscle mass, easier fat metabolism, right? And thereby reducing the weight and overall recovery also. And since these peptides can influence growth hormone and IGF-1 levels, they're generally considered as compounds that require proper medical supervision and monitoring also. Now let's talk about fat loss. One most important one is tesamorelin, which will reduce your visceral fat. And the second one that I want to talk about is, that receives a lot of attention these days, AOD 9604. In fact, I prefer tesamorelin better than AOD 9604. And tesamorelin is one of the peptides which is also approved by FDA. Okay. So see, many people misunderstand how AOD peptide work. In fact, AOD 9604 help to metabolize the stored fat. In simple terms, it unlocks fat so that the body can use it as fuel. During bodybuilding, this is something called as frag. It's a fragment of growth hormone also. But unlocking fat is not same as burning fat. You need to do exercise. It's just unlock fat and bring it into your bloodstream. Now from here, you have to use it as a fuel. For that, you have to do cardio, workouts, etc. So if you are not in calorie deficit, the body has no reason to use the released fat for energy. So you need to be in calorie deficit. So when you are working out, when you're doing other activities also, your body will use these fat as the fuel, and you will reduce the fat. Otherwise, it will simply store it again. It is released, it will restore. It will release, it will restore if you are not in calorie deficit. So that is very important. And that's why AOD 9604 works best when combined with proper nutrition and calorie deficit and proper cardio. And it can also complement GLP-1 medication by making stored fat more available, while those medication in fact reduce appetite on one side and help to maintain in calorie deficit also. So on one side, you can remain calorie deficit by using GLP-1. So here This will push that fat into your bloodstream so that you can use this as a fuel, and that thereby you can reduce the fat by burning. So finally, let's discuss one of the most exciting area of peptide research, that is the brain health, Dihexa. Other than that, you have Cmax and Celanc also, but let's talk about Dihexa here. It's a cognitive peptide that is currently attracting considerable scientific interest also. There are research which suggests that it may support the formation of new connection between the brain cells, which is a process which is known as synaptogenesis, right? I don't know whether the pronunciation is correct. Synaptogenesis. That's what you mean by, the formation of new connection between brain cells. So these new neural connections, which are very essential for learning, memory, focus, and overall cognitive performance. So before I trade, I have to sit in front of the system from 8 o'clock when I do the pre-market analysis to the sessions which I start at 9 o'clock. It will go till 3 o'clock. So I need to be in front of the screen. I have to talk to people. I have to give commentary. I have to train myself. So I need extreme cognitive performance and concentration. And after 3 o'clock also, I have to take class physically, right? So till 6 o'clock. So morning 6 to 6, I am fully engaged. So this is one thing that helped me. MOTS-c is another thing that helped me to give that energy. But again, this actually remains as an emerging area of research, and much more evidence actually needed before some kind of firm conclusion that we can make. Because of its complexity and early stage research, it is considered as one of the more advanced peptides. So when we look at all these peptides together, one thing is very clear: there is no single peptide that is best for everyone. If I have different problems, I can use different peptides. I can improve sleep by using DSIP, right? Each peptide has a different purpose. Some of them which repair mitochondria, right? SS-31, and it will MOTS-c is helping to functioning it better, and some will help to enhance the metabolism like GLP-1s or GIPs or retatrutide, right? And some support tissue healing like BPC and TB, and some reduce the gut inflammation like KPB, some improve the skin quality like GHK-Cu, and some improve growth hormone like CJC1295 and Ipamorelin, and some help to metabolize or mobilize the fat like AOD 9604 and Tesamorelin, and some target brain function like Cmax and Dihexa, etc. So the key is not choosing the strongest peptide. The point is to choose the right peptide for the right problem. So I started with KPV. That was my initial problem. Then I went to DSIP. I want to fix my sleep, and then slowly GHK-Cu, and then growth hormone peptides, and then like that, different TB500, BPC-157. So I started experimenting all this, and now I sit like this because of that. So the key is choosing the right peptide for your problem. Always remember the principle that we discussed in the beginning: peptides just amplify a healthy foundation. They do not replace it. You need good sleep, you need proper nutrition, regular exercise, stress management, and healthy lifestyle habits. That will always remain the foundation of health. So when those basics are right in place, and peptides in that case can become valuable tools that will help to optimize recovery, performance, metabolism, and your overall health. And that's why understanding with each of these peptides actually does a far more important job than simply following trends or just by copying someone else's protocol. So I hope you got the point. This is exactly what I wanted to discuss, and I see you in the next video. If you want any help in your peptide protocol, or in any such way you need one-to-one sessions, you can get in touch with us. I see you.